If we talk about the most controversial dish in Vietnam, perhaps none is mentioned more often than dog meat. It's a sensitive topic, one that divides opinions sharply, yet it also mirrors Vietnam's long journey through history, culture, and changing beliefs. There was a time when people praised it as rich, flavorful, unforgettable, but others condemned it as cruel and outdated. Dog meat could be shocking, something that clashes completely with their cultural values. But to truly understand this, we must go beyond judgment, back in time, to explore the historical, economic, and spiritual roots behind this long-standing tradition. In many rural areas of northern Vietnam, especially in the past, dog meat was once considered a special dish for the end of the lunar month or during unlucky times. There was even a popular saying that jokingly hinted at fate and belief. So why did our ancestors ever think of eating dog meat? Was it an original Vietnamese tradition or a practice that came from elsewhere and evolved into a part of our food culture? To answer that, we must look at the role of the dog in ancient Vietnamese life. Since early times, dogs have been domesticated as loyal companions of farmers, guarding homes, protecting livestock, chasing rats in the rice fields, and even accompanying people on hunts. The image of the dog became deeply woven into village life and spiritual consciousness. It wasn't just an animal. It was also a symbol of loyalty and protection, one of the 12 zodiac animals, honored in many communal houses. Even today, stone dogs can be found standing guard at village gates, believed to ward off evil spirits and remind people of loyalty and patience. Dogs appear in folk tales, proverbs, and idioms, the farmer's friend, ever faithful. Yet ironically, in hard times when food was scarce, dogs also became an accessible source of nutrition. In fact, eating dog meat was not originally a Vietnamese invention. Across East and Southeast Asia, and even parts of South Asia, this practice once existed. In ancient China, as early as the Western Zhou dynasty, more than 3,000 years ago, records show that dogs were used in rituals to honor the heavens and the earth. At that time, dogs were not just pets. They were also symbolic offerings of respect to deities. In Korea, a similar story unfolded. Dog meat soup existed for centuries and was associated with traditional medicine, believed to restore stamina and balance during the hottest summer days. So, across East Asia, dog meat was once part of the shared agrarian culture, not unique to Vietnam. Each country, however, developed its own fate and perspective toward it. Archaeological evidence in Vietnam supports this long history. Dog bones with cut marks have been found in ancient sites like Phung Nguyen and Giong Giao, dating back thousands of years. This suggests that the practice of consuming dog meat existed long before foreign cultural influences arrived. When Chinese culture spread southward, Vietnamese customs absorbed additional beliefs, associating the dish with luck, spiritual cleansing, and warding off bad fortune. Over time, what began as survival became a symbolic ritual tied to the idea of renewal and spiritual balance. In Vietnamese folk culture, eating was never just about satisfying hunger. It was also about balancing yin and yang, fortune and misfortune. That's why the idea of eating dog meat at the end of the month became popular. People believed it would wash away bad luck and invite good fortune for the new lunar cycle. In the countryside, gatherings of friends drinking rice wine beside a shared dish were not just about taste, but about faith. A belief that life would run smoother afterward. From an anthropological point of view, this can be seen as a form of food-based spirituality, where eating becomes intertwined with hope, belief, and emotional reassurance. Of course, this habit was not exclusive to Vietnam. Even in Europe, during times of famine, people once resorted to eating dog meat. By the 21st century, many countries have moved away from the practice. In China, cities like Shenzhen and Zhuhai have banned the sale of dog and cat meat. And Vietnam, too, is undergoing that transformation. Today, in Vietnam's major cities, dog meat has become increasingly rare. Some municipalities have issued restrictions, and proposals to ban it in urban areas have gained support, partly to align with global views on animal welfare and tourism standards. The younger generation now sees dogs not as food, but as friends and family members. Pet culture has flourished. People spend money on toys, food, and even healthcare for their dogs. In the future, it may disappear entirely from city life, surviving only in memories or as a topic of cultural study. Yet every time this story is mentioned, it sparks deep reflection. Not about cuisine, but about the evolution of Vietnamese society itself. From a nation once struggling with scarcity, where people ate to survive, to a modern society that now values compassion, choice, and humanity. Dog meat, in that sense, is more than a dish. It is a cultural marker, reflecting Vietnam's transition